Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today obviously I look a little bit different. I don't really have my makeup on yet. I just have my foundation and like some of my eyeshadow done. But today's gonna be a little bit of a different video talking about tips and tricks on contouring and how to contour a round face. Obviously, I have a very round face, but definitely is a lot of trial and error with like contour products, shades, and then just like what works for your face. Everyone has a different face, so obviously not one specific contour like tutorial is gonna work for everyone. Obviously, if you have similar features, then yeah. Contour routines that I see on YouTube are just not for my face shape. Something that I have found in a lot of, you know, influencers, beauty YouTubers. I feel like there's a very specific look when it comes to, you know, YouTubers, like kind of a similar face shape. Everyone has a very nice sculpted jawline. Everyone has very nice sculpted cheekbones already. I don't. This actually was brought up to me to do a video like this by you guys because I kind of went on a little rant the other day on Twitter just talking about how, like, you know, for some reason, I don't know why, I haven't changed anything up recently when it came to my contour routine, but I feel like more than ever, I've gotten so many comments about like my contour, you know, looking like shit, I look like a clown, I look like this, I look like that, whatever. And the thing that bothers me is that like my contour doesn't look any different than like somebody else that already has very prominent cheekbones, a very sculpted face already. Like that's just their natural bone structure. Just like I have to do it a little bit more intensely because obviously I don't have those natural hollows, those natural shadows, so I have to create them myself. Makeup, it's an illusion, especially contour, it's an illusion. I have to make that illusion to make it look like I have those cheekbones, that jawline, you know? And it's just annoying like seeing comments like that because it's like everyone is so used to seeing like a very specific look on YouTube, and you know, everyone's face is different. Like I have like one of my really close friends, I'll give Ashley for example, my friend Ashley Atley here on YouTube. She's so beautiful. I think she's one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life. She has such a nice sculpted, like very defined features on her face. She has very natural, like defined cheekbones, and she's somebody that doesn't really even need to contour, honestly. Like when she does her makeup and she puts foundation on, like she still has those natural contours, those natural shadows, because she has natural prominent cheekbones. So like obviously somebody that has a face shape and stuff like that and those features doesn't really have to do too much to contour, so like they don't have to go intensely with contour and stuff, whereas like I do. So I just feel like it's rude to comment on someone's face. Like it's just, why? And I don't know, it was just really bothering me and just really annoying that like, you know, not everyone has the same face shape, and the minute that somebody does something differently than like what the norm is, it's just considered like ugly or bad, and it's not. It's just, you know, finding what works for your face shape, finding what works for you, and if you like it, literally who cares? A lot of you guys were like, you know, I am so happy when I see your videos because I can relate to like your facial features, your facial structure, you know. It took me so long to like find a contour routine that worked for me and that I like, and I like the way that my contour turns out. I feel more confident when I'm like, you know, nice and sculpted. Obviously I don't mind having a round face. Do I wish I could change a little things here and there? Probably. Will I? Probably not, because I have makeup and I don't care that much. It's also another thing where like I carry a lot of my weight in my face, so even at my skinniest I've always had a double chin. You know, I have a double chin. It's fine. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. When people comment on my face, it's very triggering. So I just feel like people should just watch what they say. They don't ever really know like what somebody has dealt with, things like that. You know, one thing that you think might not even be like a really mean comment can really trigger someone when it's something that they're super self-conscious with or something that they've dealt with for a long time. So there's something that has always stuck with me. You know, you can hear a million nice comments and there's always that one comment that will always stick with you, no matter what. And this was like a few years ago. I think this is like when I first started YouTube and stuff. I actually did some beauty content and videos for a really big brand. This was like in 2016, I think. And I did videos. It's scary when you're not the one filming yourself, and you know, everyone's cameras are different, everyone's lenses are different, so some lenses kind of widen things. And the video that I filmed at their studio and stuff, and their camera was like a more wide angle camera, so my face looked even more round, and I had to like contour with their products, which didn't really work for my face. Like it wasn't super contoured. So like my face looked even more round. And I'll never forget, somebody commented on that video and was like, wow, she looks so much fatter in these videos than she does in her own videos. And I swear I have thought about this comment literally every single time I upload a video on YouTube. I'm not even joking. It is something that has stuck with me for the last 4 years. And I always replay this comment in my head whenever I feel self-conscious in my videos and how my face looks and stuff. So when I hear comments like that, it's super, super triggering. Just be mindful of what you're saying to people and what you're commenting on people's stuff. That little explanation out of the way, a lot of you guys said that, you know, you seeing the way that I contoured, things like that, has helped you so much and felt more, you know, that you can relate to somebody in like the videos on YouTube and stuff, and that like I have made you feel more confident with having a round face, and seeing things like that makes me so happy, because that's all that like I want to do when it comes to like my channel, is just like, I don't know, be something for you guys. I wanted to do this video because a lot of you guys said that you still struggle with trying to contour your face. Having a round face, it's contouring, it's a struggle. I kind of have a contour routine down that like works for me, and I really like how my contour looks now, regardless of what anybody says. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I know that was like a really long explanation of why I'm doing this video, but I want to give you guys some tips and tricks of like what has worked for me. Again, obviously not everybody has the same face shape, so just take it with a grain of salt and work it to what will work for your face, you know. I have a blank canvas right now. I just have foundation on. Also, it looks like I'm wearing 2 different shirts, but it's just a 2-tone shirt. I'm gonna go get my products and we'll get started. Okay, so let me just start off and talk about a couple products that I actually like for contouring. It's like a more contour bronze thing. I would rather just have a 2-in-1, because having to go in with bronzer and then go in with contour, it's a lot of work and I just don't have the time. Look for more neutral kind of bronzers, not super cool or not super warm. I found that that has worked the best for me. My favorite, you guys already know, is the Kylie bronzer. This is my favorite bronzer ever. It's like the perfect tone. It's not too cool, where like if you put it anywhere else besides like the hollows of your cheekbones, it doesn't look crazy. It is warm enough to kind of just give you a nice bronze, but overall it just kind of sculpts your face more so than anything. So I use the shade Toasty for my skin tone. Another one of my favorites is the Milani Silky Matte bronzers in the shade Sunkissed. Now this doesn't have a lot of shades. This only has like 3 shades, so I think the other 2, like the lighter one, is a little bit cooler, but I don't know if the other one after this is that neutral. But the shade Sunkissed, if you are my skin tone or around my skin tone or even a little bit darker than me, Sunkissed works really good. It's a really nice neutral shade, and I love the formula of this. The last one is the Alameda Cosmetics Brighten and Bronze Trios. So I have the medium tan one. This middle shade is a little bit more neutral, and then we have like a darker shade in here that is a little bit deeper. And when I want to do like something really to make myself look really snatched, I will put this darker shade like right in the hollows of my cheekbone. It will give me like that nice like Bella Hadid look. I also like this one because it does have a highlight product in here to like highlight under the eyes or highlight any areas, which will come in handy later if you are not somebody that bakes, because this video will include some baking. Not a lot, just in specific areas, and I feel like if you're more on the dry side, I feel like you can still get away with it. So but I will talk about more of this later. It does have different shades, so there is a fair to light, a medium to tan, and then a deep to dark one, I think, the one after that. And I feel like it's a really good shade range of stuff, and I use the medium tan one even though I am pretty light, because I do need something a little bit more intense to give me that fake cheekbone, you know. I also want to mention too, I do use a concealer. This is kind of like more of my base. I do have a foundation routine. I will link that down below if you guys are interested in that. I do use the Kylie concealer. I'm in the shade Bone. I do take a concealer like 1 shade lighter than my normal skin tone, and that does kind of help to bring out some areas and kind of you know, it'll highlight underneath the eyes. I also take a little bit on my chin, and that's kind of brings some of those areas forward and kind of already giving us some shape to the face, you know. Start off with the Kylie bronzer. The brush that I always use, I started using this brush because of Alyssa Ashley. She used it in one of her videos, and I was like, oh, I have that brush. And I swear my contour game was like changed after that. This is the Makeup Shack T20. Sometimes when I see people contour, and I still see a lot of people do this today, like feel where your hollows of your cheekbone at. A lot of times it's kind of where your cheekbone starts, kind of where like this little part of your ears at, and that's how you can kind of see. Also, you can kind of see if you do that. Mine's not super defined, but I can kind of see where your cheekbone's at. And a lot of times I will see people kind of take their bronzer right in the area where the cheekbone's at, and then you get a lot of bronzer down here, which is what you don't want. You want to highlight this bottom part underneath your bronzer to make the contrast of like the deeper deep set contour line and bring this area a little bit forward to then move this, you know, the contour in, you know. So I will see a lot of people take bronzer and bring it down and like really focus it in the hollow, but they're not bringing it up and you're bringing it down. So you're contouring this area and it's just making it bring your face down more. So that's what you don't want to do. I hope that makes sense. I'm really bad at explaining things, but it'll be more noticeable when I do it like this. So I'm just taking some bronzer on my brush. I want to start off lightly and build up. For me, I like to take my bronzer and start it up here. I will take it kind of on the top part of my cheekbone, and this is just going to lift my face. So with this brush, it's really easy. So I like to make sure that I'm putting the bottom part of my brush where the hollow of my cheek is and not the top. So I'm not focusing it like this, or like if I put this right in the hollows of my cheekbone, it's going to get down here. And even though you can bake and kind of clean it up, it will kind of take away the effect of lifting the face. So I will take my brush, and this is just like a fluffy kind of brush like this. And I like to start it up here. So I take my bronzer and just kind of go and like blend it upwards. And automatically you can see just with that a little bit, I haven't even put a lot on, just that will sculpt the face a little bit more and lift those cheekbones to go above my natural cheekbone. So like this is where the hollow of my cheek is at, right there. I will take all my bronzer above this area. That way all this is bare underneath. You can already see that sculpting the face like that helps a lot. You have a natural shadow kind of right here, but it's not the shadow that I want. It kind of just like dips like right there. It's really weird. So now that I kind of have like what I want when it comes to contour, I will take a little bit more just right here to kind of intensify this area a little bit more. Kind of sculpt it a little bit like that. I've seen a lot of different opinions when it comes to contouring the forehead when you have a round face. I'll say like to not take it up here and to like really focus it on the temples. I kind of have like really, I don't know, like a natural shadow in my temple already, and I don't like to emphasize that a lot, so I will just take it on my forehead. But you can do whatever you want up here towards your forehead. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of people will say just to kind of like focus it and really create that like more sunken in look on your temples. Like I said, I already have kind of like a natural shadow on my temples and I don't really like it that much, so I don't like to emphasize it even more. So I will just take it like up here. When it comes to the jawline, I got a double chin. I try to hide it as much as possible. I like to focus it and kind of create like a fake jawline, you know? And that instantly defines it a little bit more and kind of just disguises anything else, you know? That my face actually has a more defined jawline, like you guys can see. I will just kind of like this kind of facial expression. And another thing I like to do is kind of take the contour up here, and this kind of just creates that like snatched. Just take some down here. I also kind of like to, you know, sculpt any areas that I want to kind of define more. I like to define my chin a little bit because I don't have a lot of definition there. So doing that kind of creates that more natural shadow underneath here now. Like it kind of just looks like you have a little bit more sculpt in this area. So if you want to take a little bit more, I will go into the Alamada Cosmetics bronzer trio now, and I will take that deeper shade. Take this brush. You guys can take any brush, but I kind of like to take one with a more flatter edge, like kind of like a flat brush or something like this. Some of just that deeper shade on the edge of the brush. You guys kind of see where it's at. It looks really dark, but I promise it's not. And I just put that right here. You can blend it out. That will just define a little bit more. I contour my nose really quick. I don't like do this on camera just because the product I do use does not exist anymore. And this isn't really like a nose contour video, but I will kind of show just a little bit like what I do. The powder that I use is from Makeupby, but they don't sell it anymore, so I'm hoping that one day they'll bring it back, but I still use this one. And I just use a little fluffy brush. I like to take the contour. A lot of times I will see people take the contour more on the sides, and I like to fake it. And I like to take a lot of the product off on my hand first of all. And I like to take the lines or like the sides of my nose a little bit more in than they normally are, so you guys can see I just bring it a little bit more, like here's where my nose, like the bridge of my nose starts. And I like to just bring the line a little bit more over here. Just a little bit, and it makes a huge difference. I'll take a little bit more of the contour underneath my nose as well. I go for the more like button nose effect. So I will take some underneath here. Bring that contour up into this little area where your eye socket's kind of at. That really makes a big difference too. So just like that, and then I will take a little bit right here across, like so. And that's gonna give you that little button nose. I'm gonna do blush, and I feel like blush kind of also ties into this as well. I'm just taking the Alamod Cosmetics little blush trio. I'm just taking this light peach shade. People will not put a lot of blush in this area. If you have more chubby cheeks, it just kind of makes your face look a little bit more round. I personally like the way that it looks. I'm not too mad at the way it looks, but you can also just kind of keep the blush up here and keep that more elongated face shape. So you can just keep the blush kind of up in that same area where the bronzer was at, the center of the face, more bright. I'll just keep it like this for today, but a lot of times I will just take blush on the apples of my cheeks. I do like the way that that looks, but sometimes for a lot of people that does make your face look a little bit more round, so I'm not going to do it in today's video. The most important thing that I have found works the most when it comes to contour stuff is baking. People have a lot of opinions on baking, but I have found that it has worked the best for me. So I'll show you two different types of things if you don't like to bake. One, I only use really the Laura Mercier translucent powder. If you have more dry skin and you're someone that is scared to bake because you're dry, try this powder. They do sell little sizes at Sephora. This is the best powder I have ever used. Like, nothing will ever be better than this powder. It is so good, and even on my driest days, I don't find that it dries my face out. So I just take some in the cap and going underneath the contour. So you can bring this as far out as you want it to. I like to bring it out up over here because that just gives me the more of the effect of having that more, you know, have to bring the powder out this far out. If you don't want to, you can just keep it kind of in this area right here, but I just like to bring it out like that. I'll bake on the sides of my nose and then not really bake under my eyes, but I will bring this out a little bit, like out to here. And that is also going to highlight this center area again and bring those forward and keep the more contours and stuff pushed back. You don't have to do this step, but it does kind of help with the illusion. You could do that, and you don't have to leave it that long. I just usually leave it from like this point in my makeup to like when I put lips on and stuff, and then I'll just dust it off at the end. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to, which is where this Alamod Cosmetics little trio will come in handy. So I really like the brightening shade in here, and I feel like it really makes a huge difference. For somebody that doesn't want to bake, just taking some of this brightening powder and putting that underneath here will kind of give you the same effect. I sculpt underneath that contour line, and see, just having that highlight here really emphasizes the contour here, and it just brings that more sunken in kind of effect. Both are really good options. Some people don't like to bake, but you can automatically see that this created so much more of a natural looking shadow, as natural as it could possibly be with makeup. It really does create that illusion. Let me bring my hair out like this so you can see. I find that both of these methods really make a huge difference. So go finish up the rest of my makeup and I'll show you guys what it kind of looks like once everything is on, lashes and all that stuff. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I just went ahead and finished up the rest of my face. I just put a little bit of highlight on. I just kind of kept it up in this area to also lift the face. I didn't put anything in this area kind of like I usually do. I don't know. I like to change up my highlight and stuff every so often. I'm going to show you how it looks now that I have left this on a little bit and show you the difference. So honestly, I feel like they look almost the same. Again, this side has more cheekbone definition but no jawline definition, and this side has more jawline definition and less cheekbone definition. So my face is all kinds of uneven. I've done that, and I'm like, okay, this one looks a little bit more sculpted than this one. I'm going to add a little bit more of the deeper shade from the Alamod palette. and just add a little bit more. By the way, for my lips, I have my everyday lip combo, which is the Element Cosmetics Dulce Lip Liner and the House Labs Dust Le Monster Matte Crayon. That is pretty much it. Those are just my tips and tricks on like what I do for my contour. I don't feel like I do too much. Like, I just use a couple products. It's not like something that is like super hard to incorporate into your routine. It's actually really easy. Obviously, it just seems like a lot when I'm explaining everything, but I feel like it does make such a huge difference, and it doesn't really take away too much from like my face. Like, it's still round but it does add a lot more shape and sculpt to my face, which I really like, and I don't feel like it looks too dramatic. Some people will say otherwise. I don't know. I like the way it looks personally, and again, everyone's face is different. Like, everything's gonna work a little bit differently on everyone. Some things that I mentioned today might not work for you, and it's all just about like trial and error and just taking some tips and just applying them to your own routine and stuff and see what works for you. Obviously, I didn't come up with these tips. These are things that I have learned along the way from many people. A lot of techniques obviously have been taken from drag. I get most of my makeup ideas from drag queens anyway, so this helps you a little bit if you are struggling with contour and highlight. Like I said, it's not anything super crazy. You may know some of these tips and tricks already, but some people may not, and I hope that whatever you took from this video was helpful and you can apply it to your own routine. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys, and I hope that you guys like it, and if you guys want to see more tips and trick videos like this, then let me know. I'm not really good at explaining things, so like I said, I hope everything that I said makes sense. I try to explain myself as best as possible. I get really like nervous trying to explain things. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did like this video, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.